Alex Bowser, The Devils We Dance With. Thanks for coming back, man. This book, The Alchemy of Transmuting Pain into Power, basically what I got from it was most of us run from our demons and you decided to dance with yours. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what I got from the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but tell me well, you got crazy. You guys...
Yeah. I like how you pulled up right to the photo.
I pulled up right to the photo. You got some crazy stories in here.
Do you know what's really crazy about that though, man? Is that's like what I can remember. There's like a whole section that I don't remember.
Yeah.
Those are just the big, heavy stories that I felt were relatable to the majority of people right now. But it also allowed me to go through like a lens of vulnerability and acceptance.
You got pretty honest in this book, man. Mm-hmm. You've got stories that I think a lot of us do, but we would never put it in the book. And I think that's why when somebody picks this up, they're going to get the feeling of like, oh, I'm not alone. Because I talk to people all day. You know, I hear everyone's stories in the insurance. You know, a lot of my friends are honest, but like a lot of people don't have that. They don't have that tribe of like, is it just me? Am I the only one going through this? And like, has anyone else gone through this? Can I get some help? Can I get, you know what I mean? So I think that's where the honesty in the book, man. A lot of people are going to go, that's a wild story. But a lot of them are going to go, I got the same story.
Exactly.
I would never say it because I'm embarrassed or I don't want, but like you put it out there.
Yeah.
You know, but then you transformed it, that pain into strength though, which I think a lot of people are still working on, you know?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like nobody just is born with that confidence or born with the thought of like, well, let me just put all my traumas and pains out there.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully that does encourage a lot of people to not suppress, but accept what they've been through. Because what happened to me when I was a young child kind of set the stage for that sexual trauma to become a sexual deviant and cause pain in other people's lives. And I suppressed a lot of that for a long time. But what I realized is if you're suppressing the pain that you've been through, the guilt, the shame, if you're trying to push it off, then you're kind of pushing that part of yourself away and you can never really be whole. And so the idea behind this book was two-part: to work through my own traumas, make sense of it, and allow it to empower myself. Because writing it out was
probably makes you even more focused, like, wow, as you write it out, you start to remember, and then it all comes out. You're like, oh, damn.
Yeah, you got to work through it, man. Like, it's like sifting for gold, right? You got to sift through the shit of your life, but it's also quite empowering because what I experienced when I was writing the book over 5 years, that's the 4th version of The Devils We Dance With, you really learn a lot about yourself, what you've really been through, what you're capable of, where your limits are, where maybe you can reassess, recalibrate what it is to be human, and then discard what isn't no longer serving you. Energy vampires, things of that nature.
Energy vampires, man. I could have kept going on that page too. You need to have 2 pages for that because some people are gonna go to that first page quick.
Yeah, dude. I've worked with a lot of people. And like I said, I've had some people write down just page after page of things that they've gone through. But like you said, once you start that process of working on yourself, it's like a thread on a fabric. You can just keep pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, and it just unravels. But that's kind of the point.
Sifting just never stops at that point.
But that was also one of the other points with writing the book is so when I work with people one-on-one in the coaching aspect, working through people's traumas, vulnerability isn't often given. What I realized is oftentimes somebody, me personally, in this example, you have to create the space, a safe place, a non-judgmental safe place. But for somebody to open, you often have to reach your hand out first. And that's what begins to build the bridge of trust when you're talking about pains and traumas and things like that. So the reason why those stories, the ones that I selected, the heavy hitters, is so when somebody reads it, unknowingly to them, it's going to put them in a position to where they can be vulnerable, not just with me, but with themselves. Because a lot of us are running from the things that we've done, things that have happened to us. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it. But in a calm and collected setting that the individual, the reader, the audience is going through, it opens that bridge for them to be vulnerable, but not, like I said, with me, but with themselves. And then obviously you've experienced the book and kind of takes that turn halfway through and carries you out.
No, and expressing, like you said, that I think the safe space when you're reading a book, when you express your humilities live to anyone who picks up this book, you know, like we say, oh, everything is stuck on the internet forever. Be careful what you say. Like this is forever.
That's a permanent stamp.
That's a permanent stamp of like, I've accepted it and I've turned this into, it's not embarrassment, it's not this or regrets or all those doubts and all that stuff. That humility actually became a strength. So I think when other people who are looking for a psychologist or they got anxiety or whatever their background is from childhood, where they feel that burden of just guilt, humiliation, you can't tell anyone, that's what I think when someone reads it, or it's like watching a movie. When you watch a movie and go, that's me. You know, you
have that relatableness to the character.
Yeah, but you can't talk to the character though. You can't. This gives like, I like the little worksheets you put in here, because I started doing some of mine and I was like, oh, I'll put a few, and then I really started thinking about it and I was like, I'm a doubter. I don't give myself grace. I'm hard on I'm embarrassed, and I was like, oh wow, I do got some demons floating around in there that I don't like to talk about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that humility actually, I think, empowers the reader of like, oh, this guy gets me. Because that's the thing I've heard from some people in the past is sometimes talking to like a psychologist or someone doesn't work for some people unless that person has the same story. Because they're like, it's like when somebody passes away and they're like, oh, I feel sorry, I know how you feel. It's like, you don't know how I feel. And that's just, you're just like balled up. You're like, don't talk to me. You don't. But if you talk to someone that's like, I lost this person too, and their story's worse than yours, you're like, oh, I can talk to you.
Oh, they made it. They're doing good, but they were somewhere worse than I was.
Yeah.
Maybe my situation's not that bad.
No different with drug addicts. Like when you talk to drug addicts, a lot of them are like, you don't know what you're really getting into. And at first it's fun and you just want to party, and then you don't realize that your body relies on it. And then you have to have it. So then you kind of do become a tweaker, and then you have this little group of people that are helping each other. And it's like, some people don't really understand that, like how it makes you feel, how your body relies. It's like, I wish I could stop this. Before you know it, 20 years goes by and they're like, you're judging them, but it's like, you don't know and then other people are like, dude, I've been there. I know how hard it is. I know how it's hard to get off. Like, certain things trigger it, and you got to like find that. I think that's why those AA meetings work so well. Because there's people that can relate. They
can, definitely, to a degree. And you kind of said something right now about like, once you're in it, but you don't really know you're in it until you're out of it. And that's where those near-death experiences in the book come into play. And it's always, everybody I talk to that's had similar drug experiences, where they have near-death drug overdoses, they got caught up in that lifestyle. And when, after the fact they're out of it, I always ask them one simple question is, so what happened for you to get out of it? What was the event? And it was always a car crash, near-death overdose, my buddy died, somebody got shot, got some girl pregnant, had to change my life. It's always one of those rock bottom moments.
Ended up going to prison, and it's like, I'm not even from that world. It's like, it happens quick. But
fortunately, by grace of a higher power and God, though, I made it through quite a few of those near-death experiences, and it took me a while to kind of pay attention to what was happening and really start turning it around.
Well, we're the class of 09, so we get it. Addiction, accidents, parties, and people screwing up, and near-death experience. It's like, it's kind of crazy how common it is between certain people, certain groups, and you're just like, I'm just glad we all made it out of it. Especially coming home, driving back on the 99 from a rave or whatever it is. I think we've all had those near-death experiences back in the day during the huge rave scene, when that started popping off back in the day. And it's some people learn from it though, and some people don't. And that's where, but hopefully when those people start to learn from it and they finally want to get it together, this book can help them find their weaknesses and stop running from those demons and learn to just kind of tango with them. So what was your how did this come to be for you? Because there's a lot of stories, and I'm sure you could have put a lot more in there. So I think I might have heard of some of these times where I was probably at one of those parties that night or whatever. But how did this actually come to be? Like, what was that pivotal moment of like, I got to write this book?
So in 2019, I get a connection. Okay, so let me preface some context. With everything that happened to me, I thought was normal. I didn't think it was abnormal.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that I went through as a child, the stuff that I went through in junior high school, like I thought my whole story, holding a knife to my own throat when I was in 6th grade, I thought that a lot of kids had experienced some shape of that.
Like, oh, these are just feelings you get as a kid, and we all go through it. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then I get into network marketing, and then I meet Emily Ford, and she's building a team here in the Central Valley, and we connect through Glory and everybody, and then I start sharing my story with people that have already gone through their rock bottom and now they're up on the top, and I start sharing that story with them, what I'd been through, the positives, the negatives, and a couple of them took me aside like, Alex, that's not normal.
Because you probably say it jokingly. A lot of us, we say it like, oh, been there, and then we have our crazy story, but then other people go, you did what? That's come over here. Stop. What happened to you? Yeah. You're like, it happens, and they're like, no, that doesn't.
Yep. So I started sharing my story, and like I said, like a lot of people are just like, dude, that's not normal. You got to do something with this. Like you could actually inspire a lot of people. And at that point, I'd already been into personal development. I started listening to Les Brown. I connected with him because I'd just be folding laundry and I'd throw Les Brown on. Yeah. And then I realized that he had a very similar story to I did in terms that he had a passion for DJing, and I was a wedding DJ at the time. So I started latching on to his story on what he went through and how he became a speaker. And so that kind of set the stage. And then all of a sudden I meet Emily, and then I meet a whole bunch of other people. And I just so happen to have the God-given gift and passion for writing. I think writing, and I feel writing is one of the closest things, the most powerful things we could do as humans. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you think about it, movies, there's writers, songs, it's written, books, writing, Bible, it's all written, right? So when you write, you kind of act as that conduit for creation and to flow through you. And I decided to just pair that gift and that passion with what I'd been through. And that started in 2020 when the pandemic hit. So I think I started writing the first chapter probably June of 2020. I declared I was going to do it back in 2019, but I started it after the beginning of the pandemic, and then goes on the next 5 years. So this is the 4th version. First 3 were written from like a really stance of ego. I had a lot of ego involved in those 3. And then I took a break from writing the book when I thought I was finished back in 2023. But it came about because I knew that I had to share the story. I wanted to share the story. Yeah. I wanted other people to know that even though you might feel like you're alone, hiding in silence, and a lot of people, men, typically us, I'm not going to go talk to a therapist. Like I'm
not telling you what happened to me at 8 years old. Like, no.
You get the book and you read the book in your own privacy, and you could do that inner work with in your own time in a safe place. Then now is the idea. But so 2-part, putting my own stories out there and revealed to me and gave me the confidence that I had done the work, moved through it, and now I don't have to hide my head in shame for some of those things. Yeah. And then use that and leave that breadcrumb for others to follow, to empower them, give them the tools, the equipment that I use mentally to get me out of that darkness and at least back to baseline, which is what therapy is all about. Yeah. You as a therapist or to get back from a negative to a neutral, but just want to live a good life. Then you use coaching to ascend that life. Yeah. So that was the idea behind the book. I just had some great mentors, some good friends that said, you got to do something with this, and some guidance along the way, and 60 months later, this is what came out. Yeah.
And it's funny when you said that about writing, I thought, everyone has thoughts and creativity and whatever consciousness is. We all have these things in our head, right? But when you put it on paper, you turn it into reality, so that now I know it's kind of like, now you know what I'm thinking. I got all these secrets in my head, not going to tell anyone, but you might have the same secrets in your head that I can relate to. Maybe a little bit different, but a lot of people are walking around holding it in. And then as you get older, you still have these little, these doubts, you still have these weaknesses, you still have this guilt, shame. And then And then you get older, and then you start having kids. And for some reason, when you start having kids, it starts to unlock a lot of that stuff. It weirdly, like some of my fears I haven't thought about in 20 years, I think about now that I have kids. But I'm like, am I crazy? Am I the only one thinking this? Am I the only? So when you write your thoughts down on paper for me to read, and you turn your stuff into reality for me, and I can bounce off of that and see like, okay, I'm not the only one that maybe thinks like this, or that has guilt or shame or whatever it might be. And because that affects people in the workspace and their relationships. I've talked to people that are like, I've talked to my counselor. Like I just have things I can never tell my wife. I'm like, you might want to tell her, you might want to tell him, because holding all that in, I'm sure causes fights, or like
that suppression will unravel and come out in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
especially if you're a drinker.
Yeah, and oh my God, and you see that when people start drinking. Yeah,
because when I was doing my own exercises, when I was coming up with this years ago, almost all energy vampires are kind of connected in some way. If you learn to look through the lenses and see the angle on how they all bounce off of each other. Mine, 9 out of 10 of them were always surrounded around alcohol and getting past a certain point when I was younger. Now, sometimes every once in a while, but I think that's just because of just living life.
Well, it seems like a lot of people don't, like, alcohol's not a threat. When you hear of meth, coke, pills, whatever it might be, you go, oh my gosh, that's a real mind altering. People really underestimate alcohol.
Alcohol's the number one.
Alcohol can do a number on you. When you pass out, or when you black out and you see videos of you on Monday.
Who's that guy?
What just happened? It's like when you see those anesthesia, people who get like their wisdom teeth pulled out, and you're like, that's not me.
Yep.
Who the hell was that? It's like, that's an internal demon that wanted to come out and play. That's the stuff you're hiding right there. That's what that was. I
have an observation on that. So alcohol, to me, what it does now is it lowers the connection we have to our own consciousness. So the more you drink, like, think about this, when somebody is blacked out or they're really intoxicated, they go straight back to primitive default. They want sex, they want sleep, they want food.
And I want it now.
And then they don't talk a lot of grunts and mumbles. That is straight primitive behavior.
Yeah.
Cognitive thought process goes out the window, decision making out the door. And a lot of people
bad decision making.
But when you're not drinking, you're in that higher state of consciousness.
Yeah. And I think alcohol gets you because it makes you feel like you're more aware. And some people, I got to drink to be more social. You don't have to drink to be more social. You need to get rid of whatever it is that stops you from wanting to go be social. What is it that you don't want to talk about, or what is it that bothers you, or what is it that you think, well, everyone's staring at me right now? Maybe they know.
People just locked in their own heads, man.
Yeah, they're just locked in their own heads. So alcohol, like you said, it makes you dumber. So you're like, I'm less aware.
Some people get a little smarter, though. I've seen some people get a little smarter.
They're okay. Yeah. There might be that. I think that's a very small, like, if you're just sitting around drinking a little tequila with a lime in it.
Yeah.
Some people just sit, a beer or two. Like, it is relaxing. But like you said, for most people, though, we've seen people that just go shark eyes.
Yep. I've definitely been there many times.
Yep. And so, and when that happens, that's when the trauma wants to come out.
Like I said, it will come out.
Yeah.
It will always come out somewhere. But I'm curious, when you were going through the book, man, what really stuck out in that book to you? What were you able to relate to?
I think, so there was a couple things. I think the biggest thing for me in the book was, first, the stories. So you go through, I like how you lay out just craziness in the beginning. Like chaos, like you said, like chaos. This is not normal. This is chaos. And so I like how, well, and the second thing is I love the names of your chapters. Like The Devil in the Night. And then, hold on here. I actually marked one. Embracing vulnerability leads to empowerment. And then you go through some other, that crazy story. But
when you get to that chapter, that's when shit really hits the fan.
Yeah, dude. Okay. I was in bed with Raven and I was reading that chapter and I just went. She goes, "What?" I was like, "This is a crazy chapter."
Yeah, my boy really survived that.
I was like, "But you know what? A lot of us have had that happen to us." And when I read that, basically your book brought out a lot of memories of mine that I had totally forgot about. Completely forgot about. And so I was reading it, and so first thing was through the book is I could relate to a lot of this stuff. Letting certain decisions dictate actions, all these other things, these great quotes you put in there. But what I got from it was you can hit absolute rock bottom. You can think that the tunnel just never ends, but really you're gathering strengths. You're building those milestones. You think, oh, this happened to me, and then this happened to me. Oh, I'll never be normal. My marriage will never be the same. Like, I have all these weird things that like no one will ever accept, right? Or that I'll hold in. And then the book starts to slowly transfer to, well, it goes from sexual abuse to, and then you take the turn into the addiction, and then the downfall. And then from there, you start to give yourself grace. You got to be easy on yourself. And then from there, the good stories come in, like Gemma, your grandma Gemma. And then you see from her, and then you start to relate with your terrible stories, her terrible stories. But then towards the end of the book, I feel like it went from, you've basically been sharpening your sword this whole book and didn't realize it. You thought, oh, well, this will ruin me forever, or no one, this trauma is going to follow me forever. I can never forgive. I can never let anyone really in. I got to sleep with one eye open from now on. But really, those are all your strengths now. So those demons have actually you've been kind of learning to dance. And then, so I think when you talk to somebody else, and you have those tools now. You have those little daggers and swords and armor, and you're looking at someone now who barely has any armor on. Their sword's a little dull. Their leather's breaking off. Their chest plate won't stay up. But you're like, listen, I've been gathering all this armor, and it felt heavy, but I didn't realize it was armor on me. You know what I mean? So I got from the book that as like a guide. Like, let's go through the crap, and then I'm going to show you that it actually wasn't crap. All those things actually have been strengthening you. But when you give yourself grace and you're not as hard on yourself, and you see how other people handle it, you know what I mean? I felt like towards those last couple of chapters were like they really wrapped it up and like put the cold water on the hot iron and like
and hardened it.
And you're like, I'm not crazy. Those are now my strengths. I know what I can go through. I know what my body's capable of for sure. So that's kind of what the book was like. I don't know how you describe it. Not like a direction, not like a motivational, more like I don't know, but alchemy. The book was out. Oh my God. Oh my God, the word's been right in front of me the entire time. Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, well, I feel stupid now. I've been reading this book, and finally
that's
I realized
the whole thing. Is the realization. It's alchemy. It is alchemy, and alchemy is biblical, man. That goes all the way back to Jesus. Before that, it's just the transmutation of one state to another. Negative, positive. All that stuff comes into play.
It's funny that barely just came to me right now. I was like, what's the word? Oh, alchemy, transformation. Okay.
Transmutation. Transmutation, one state to another. Absolutely. And everybody has the ability to do that. And that is a learned behavior. You either learn it through yourself, through the School of Hard Knocks, which was the majority of mine, but you also learn it through other people, which is, once again, one of the reasons why I wrote the book. It's because I learned it from people like Les Brown, Dr. Miles Monroe. Those
Tony Robbins' mom was a psycho. And you're like, oh, he can relate to me. I'll listen to him now. He's not just some rich guy. Tony Robbins came from a crazy household.
And you got to learn the perspectives that these people have now cultivated for themselves, right? Because all alchemy comes down to, at least in the sense of the human spirit and the human condition, what we've been through and what we can use it for, is just your perspective. The book, and especially that energy compass, that life compass exercise, is designed to do one thing and one thing only. Awareness. That's it.
Get you out of that rut too. Like, man, you got to get out of this. You're stuck on this negative vampire, energy vampire. You got to get out of this.
You got to be aware of it.
Yeah.
You got to know what's what and what you're giving your power away to.
Yeah.
Only then can you start to take the steps to get out of the rut. Because if you don't know you're in a rut,
yeah,
where are you going to go?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You just keep following it. And what are ruts? The ruts are from someone that was in front of you doing the same damn thing.
That is a great point. And what I realized is a lot of the pain and trauma that impacted me, I absorbed. And until I worked through it, I took that energy and I acted like an agent of that darkness, causing pain and destruction to others.
Yeah.
I have gotten people onto drugs. I have broken hearts because I was an asshole. I've caused destruction through my pain. And that is part of the cycle that a lot of us get into. And until you're self-aware that you're in the cycle and you're a cog in the wheel, you won't get out of it.
Yeah. I think negative forces want to recruit.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to be over here by yourself.
No.
You don't want to be over here in the party alone, because some people start to figure it out and they get out of it and you go, oh man, party's dying out. I got to go recruit some more, hey, you look a little sad. You want some drugs? And when people are giving people drugs at parties and raves, you don't think you're doing the wrong thing. Someone's down, someone's this. You want to have more fun? Yeah, I want to have more fun. And then now you're realizing like, oh.
Now you start dancing with some
when
devils.
the sunlight comes up and the party's over and you
birds
go.
are chirping.
Birds are chirping and you're back to reality and you're going, maybe that wasn't the best idea. Maybe I shouldn't have given that person this, or maybe I shouldn't have taken this from this person, or, because you wouldn't take bad advice from somebody, but
we've all done that.
You're going to be at a rave and, let somebody put a pill on your tongue. You're just like, I don't even know you.
Yeah. Times have changed. Times have changed. Back, 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, that was fun. Some of my best nights, believe it or not, were because of that. But
it's awesome until you're crawling one of those towers and security's trying to get you. And you're like, what am I doing up here?
But you're right, though. Like, every journey starts somewhere. There's always a fork in the road. And my journey started with sex, drugs, and EDM.
Yeah. Class of 09, baby.
Yeah. And getting sent down that path, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go... For anybody that's kind of going down that right now, it's okay to go to the party, but don't stay at the party when it ends.
Yeah.
Leave the party before it becomes an addiction.
Yeah.
Before it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Dance around, but remember, it's a dance. Leave.
Yeah, when the demons hit the dance floor, it's time to leave.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I think I'm out of here. I think we're good.
And that's, like I said, man, it all just comes down to self-awareness. What is influencing you? How's it impacting you? And how are you impacting others?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what enough people ask the question. It's like when you get into a relationship with somebody, a lot of people right now ask, what does this person have to offer me? Do they check all these boxes off? X, okay, green mark. But what do you bring to the table for that person? Does your resources, the person that you've become, do you complement that person?
You want them to fulfill your happiness for the moment.
Which is ego. This coming from an ego.
But what can you do for them, though?
Yeah. And that's one of the hopes that I have for anybody that reads the book is that self-awareness of like, what is actually influencing me? And how am I absorbing that and influencing others? My partner, my kids, my coworkers. Yeah. Because it's all connected. It's all part of that invisible ether that we can feel, but we can't see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and I think one of the biggest things in the book, because I hear this all the time, would you call it sexual abuse or sexual trauma when you were younger?
So those are two very different things.
Yeah.
The abuse is the act.
I wouldn't say you were abused, but it was more of a confusion, traumatic, it was something that carries on with you forever, and you go, what was that? Is it good? Is it bad? Why do I have... And then you get older and you're like, I still kind of... Like that sexual tension. There. Like, you're like, now I need it all the time.
And that's the energy vampire. That's that tether that you draw the circle and you connect to you, is to be the awareness of it and understand it is... Well, I was insanely sexual in junior high, high school, college, and I did some damage. Mm-hmm. And I never really understood it until I started working on the book and going all the way back. What was Alex? What happened day one? Yeah. Single mom, no dad. Grew up in a household full of women. I have 3 girl cousins. I have 1 boy cousin, Josh. Sorry, 4 girl cousins, Josh. a lot of the dads were there, but not always there. So I was always raised by women, my mom, my aunts, my grandma, babysitters. And then that happened to me with the babysitter. And then I was able to trace that to this, to the next trauma, then to college.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I've been a part of this cycle my entire life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until about 2017 I started to take a step back from being part of that cycle.
Yeah.
And that self-awareness alone was able to help shift away from a lot of that. But to answer your question earlier, the abuse is the act, the trauma is the residual effect that happens almost immediately for some, for 10, 15, 20 years. And even though, say, I have a kid, say I never healed, I never did the work to understand what happened to me and why I became the force of destruction that I did.
Yeah.
And if I had the abuse when I was younger, and then if I say I have a child, or when I have a child, and I take that aggression, that pain, and I pass it along, well, my child wasn't say, sexually abused, but that trauma has now transferred on.
Yeah.
I've now bled that onto the next bloodline member. Yeah. So that's the difference between the abuse act and the trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, because I never was heavy into drugs. I think I'd seen enough people growing up what they did.
Yeah, you saw enough people go
I think I'd seen enough where I was like, that's cool, but not for me. And then the couple times that I did, I'm kind of a control freak. So I was like, all right, when's this going to end? It was fun for 30 minutes, but I got to do this for 5 more hours. Like, I'm good. I'm never doing this shit again.
Yeah, that's the big thing about a lot of drugs is I would say one of the benefits I have learned, though, is that surrender, allowing life to just happen.
Yep.
Because I've seen some people where they can't
Some people
surrender.
can stay in it, and I'm like, I got to get out of this.
Yeah. Those guys, that's a whole other breed. They're guys, gals.
Some people can just stay in it, though. They want to.
They do a lot of it, and they're good for 14 hours. I'm like, that's insane, dude.
Yeah. Well, you just made me think. So I'm a control freak. So I wanted to have fun for a little bit, but then I'm like, all right, I'm over this. I'm good. Let me just go back to my tequila and dancing, and I'm good on this. I don't want to stay in this for the next 12 hours in this realm that I'm like, nope, I don't have control here. I'm out of here. Other people, I think, want to avoid real life, so they just want to sit in that lazy river forever. So they don't want to come out.
That's where I ended up.
I think that's the two different types of people that don't want to come out, and the people that are like, let me out. I'm good.
So mine was kind of threefold. Like I traced it back to a few different things because I was an athlete my entire life. My stepdad came in. He's like, I have one rule. Well, he had many rules, but one of the rules was you have to do sports every year. So from 3rd grade, baseball, then into football, then track, then Fresno State, then I'm on Air Force to be a pilot. It's an insane amount of structure.
So those uppers, you want the...
Well, yeah, but I never had that freedom to just, I don't have to give a shit.
Oh.
So the first chance I got where I didn't have sports, when I didn't have the structure from the Air Force, when I wasn't in a relationship, I was finally able to just be Alex and explore what that is.
Yeah.
I took that, I don't have to worry about anything as long as I stay in Fresno State and stay at state and get my criminology degree.
Yeah.
Which is a laugh in all of itself. Then I was like,
I'm gonna do whatever I
want. yeah, I definitely could. But not having to worry about that structure is definitely what, like I said, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna take this ride and I'm gonna ride it hard.
Yeah.
And that's what really kind of kept me on that path for a little while. It's because I didn't have responsibility for the first time in my life. I got to just fuck around and find out.
Yeah. So you weren't just enjoying the lazy river. You were like in a canoe paddling down the lazy river, going hard.
I threw a motor on the back, and I was jamming down fuck alley.
Yeah. Me, I'm trying to get out of that river. Other people are just like, oh, I don't care. And you were just like...
I was paddling. I was picking people up off the riverbank. I was tying up with other people on that. And from probably 2012 till probably about 2015, 2016, I was going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
Hard in the paint.
Yeah. I remember I got in that scene for a little while. But, I won't even get into that. But, yeah, man, I think I think a lot of people from our year, like those 2-3 years, those graduating classes, everyone went hard. I don't know what it was. I don't know if like the music scene did take off. I remember the raves and like, you know, Hard Haunted, like those all started to get big.
Monster Massive.
Yeah, this is way before like EDM and all that. Like those ones were way funner to me, actually. Those little local ones, the ones in LA, the underground ones. Yeah, being out here in the middle of nowhere, 400 or 500 people, you know, and the cops show up in the helicopters. I was like, those are way better than like these huge commercial ones now. I mean, those are EDM, those are still amazing, but like those ones were fun to me.
It was new.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like watching Dogtown Z-Boys the other day. I was like, that's how the party scene was for us. Like there was the 70s and the 80s and yes, the 90s, all these crazy party scenes, but like I felt like this was like the new one again. And then it had its wave, but it was so fun. But yeah, we were all young, some of us single, no kids. And then I think some people don't know when to get out of that lazy river though.
Yeah.
You know, or they've been in it for so long that you're like, I don't really want to get out now. Like I'm, you know, my career, everyone's having kids. Cause I talk to people all the time that are like, people have kids, people are getting married, people have their careers. You know, I'm still like, I'm like, dude, no. I'm like, we're all still figuring it out.
Yep.
We're all like, don't do that. No excuses, you know, don't get out of that river and start drying off and get yourself together, you know. But some people some people can't come out.
It's always almost,
which is the addiction.
It's almost going to always take a life-altering event.
Yeah.
Because it's human nature. We learn through tragedy and hardship. If everybody learned through greatness and the greatness of others, we would be in a much better place.
Yeah.
But as society, and that's from the micro to the macro, right? The individual, human nature, we learn through hardship. And then as a society, wars and things like that typically propagates necessity and innovation, which pushes human race forward. Yeah.
Well, it's like when people say, is it nature or nurture? You know, you are kind of a product of wherever you live. You know, you're a product of your environment. And then you sprinkle on events throughout your life, and then you sprinkle on addiction, and you sprinkle on near-death experience, and then you sprinkle on top of that, who are the 5 people you hang out with. So I think that's where, and then at the end of all that, now you're stuck with this story of, I suck, I can never come out of this, this is all I'm good for. You know, whether addiction or someone was raped or said this by an ex-boyfriend or a family member or whatever it is, you know, or just had some type of experience or abortion at a young age, and you think your story is that. And that's why I like that your book, you came out pretty hard with the stories, man. I was like, damn, he's admitting some hard stuff right here. But I think that'll break through the ice for other people to go, if he can put his stuff in this book, then let me keep reading this, because now I'm hooked. And then you go, oh, well, if he can do it, you know, people always say, if he can do it, you can do it. It's like, no. But you can't just say, if I can do it, you can do it. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, well, you got to give me some rules. Give me a little direction. I'll put my boots on, but give me a map. Give me something, or else I'm just going to get lost again in the forest and never come out.
And that's what this is.
Hit the river again.
This is that lantern in that forest.
Yeah.
It's not going to do the work for you, but it's going to show you how to do it and help be there with you.
Yeah, how to look. I think you said, oh my gosh, I should have wrote it down. Finding that light
in the
darkness, which sounds so cliche, like everyone says it, but in the story where you read that part,
that's a closing
and you feel
letter.
Like you're not coming out, and you feel like you're just walking. Like reading this book, I kind of felt like you were bouncing off doors in a haunted house and just couldn't find like which door, and you keep bouncing off doors, and then the worse it got, finally, the darker it gets, the more that little tiny light actually shows, because it's so dark that a little tiny pinhole in the ground, you're like, there's some light. You know, it's like when people get lost in a cave and they see a little light through the rock.
Yep.
You're like, this is it. It's getting darker and thicker, can't come out, and then that little tiny light just like shines through, and you're like, oh.
And then the book ends how it does.
Yeah, and then the book ends how it does, and I'm like, yeah, it's actually, it's almost like it has to get worse before it gets better. You know?
Well, so this is what I rationalized. Thank you for saying that. This is how I rationalized it. It was either going to get better or I was going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you say that's your biggest turning point? in the book was you sitting on that ambulance gurney.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That night partying, I spent the next probably 3 weeks putting back together my psychology, my mind of who is Alex Bowser.
Mm-hmm.
How did I get to that point in the ambulance after that concert in LA?
Yeah.
Why did I survive with a couple buddies that drunk driving car accident where we flipped that Chevy 4 or 5 times?
Yeah. Well, you guys have been up for 10 days straight, so that'll do it.
Yeah, man. So those near-death experiences, and eventually, especially after that gurney, I just said, okay, this is my rock bottom, but then how do I take it and flip the script to where that is now not my rock bottom, but that's the peak of a new mountain?
Yeah.
How do I turn that pain into power? And that's the one right there. Go down a little bit. Yeah.
There it is.
No function, baby.
Rock star, baby.
I partied like a rock star, and you know what the crazy part is?
No
like,
function. Oh my God, I remember that.
yeah,
Hashtag no function.
Hashtag no function. Fortunately, our group that we ran that gamut with for over 10 years, like, thank God nobody died.
Yeah.
There are multiple times when somebody from that group should have went.
Yeah. It is wild though. Like everyone starts to kind of, your group does start to sink in. Like you guys start to sync with each other. Like when you're up for days at a time, and one day you're up in the mountains, and the next day you're at the beach, and then the next day after that you get a call and you go to LA, and before you know it you wake up on a rooftop and you're like, oh my God, where are we? Like you do start to watch over your little clan. You know, like you got like, hey, where's so and so? Hey, where is he? You know, or you like people start to cut each other off, but it's hard when you guys are all helping each other and you're all
we all
partying
enabled
together.
each other. There was never anybody in our group that said we should stop.
Like you said though,
None
when
of
you're
us.
in the chaos, you don't think it's a bad thing. Yeah, you
Until
guys,
something
Alex needs
bad
water.
happens.
Call an ambulance. Like, okay, we're on it. Like we'll say, and then you go back to doing it the next week. You're like, you guys, this is not normal.
Yeah.
Someone almost died. Someone rolled their car. We were driving back from LA. So and so fell asleep at the wheel. Our car almost went under an 18-wheeler. Like, you guys, this is not normal.
Yep.
But it's hard when you're in that space to get out of it. It's so hard to get out of it. Because you're like, who am I going to hang out with? What am I going to do? Who am I? Are they going to judge me? It's like, our friends aren't like that, but like a lot of people don't leave those clans because you leave the clan, you're dead. You know, or they're never going to talk to me again. Or,
Well,
you know, they know my secrets.
Well, why do you think that is? Think human nature. Why do you think that is?
Tribal instinct.
Yep.
You know, that's why they say that I've heard that this one psychologist broke it down. He said the reason why public speaking is so terrifying for people is because somewhere in our DNA, public speaking back in the day, public events used to be executions. So if there was a public event going on and you're the person on the stage and you're being hung and you're trying to tell everyone why you shouldn't be hung,
you're on trial.
You're on trial.
Public speaking, yeah, you're on trial.
You're up on the stage. Everyone's like,
everyone's judging you.
Yeah, but but they were like, why is it though that the number one fear? Everyone's like, oh, I'd rather jump off a bridge than public speak.
Judgment.
Yeah, judgment.
It all comes down to judgment.
Embarrassment. That's, I think, at the core of a lot of people's issues.
Yeah, well, judgment extends far beyond just this realm. Judgment is you going to heaven or hell. Like, that's spiritual.
Judgment's big in our heads.
Judgment's big.
We're programmed with it.
And this goes back to that primal thing. Like,
Yeah.
we are run by that primitive behavior,
Yeah.
that subconscious, right?
Goes back to that small town thinking. You know, when it's not like cities today, you know, you pass by your neighbor. No one knows. The people live in apartments nowadays. They don't know who their neighbors are. But back hundreds of years, not too long ago, hundreds of years ago, still even today, small towns, when there's only a town of 500 people, judgment, like you can't get kicked out. You know, you got to do the right thing. You can't screw up. Everyone's watching each other. But at the same time, everyone is also helping each other. Like they say that like if you break down in a small town, everyone pulls over to help you.
Yeah.
It's because they know that there's not 100,000 people in that city. Someone's got to stop and help this guy.
Yep.
But the bigger that gets, I think we think we've gotten away from that primally, but when you start drinking, it comes right back. When you public speak, it comes right back. When you want to tell somebody a secret or whatever it is, that small town primal instinct, I can't get kicked out of the group, because if I get kicked out of my tribe,
I'm alone.
I'm alone.
Who's got my back?
No one's got my back. Other tribes are going to get me.
Yep.
So I think that's exactly where that judgment, embarrassment, holding it in, and then comes the, ego, and then it's just a snowball. I don't think we're cavemen in suits today. That's all we are.
Human nature doesn't change.
Yeah.
The technology changes and the means to access certain things changes.
Yeah.
But the human nature, that primitive side is definitely still there.
I think technology has brought out even more how tribal we are. You get on Twitter, dude, you look at some of the wars people are having on there for a team that they don't even really know.
Yeah.
Whatever team politically you're on, or I mean, it's like the, Team Edward versus team. It's like, dude,
Team
people
Edward,
will die on that hill over Twitter. It's like, if me and you were talking face to face, if one of the guys over here doesn't agree with me politically on something, we talk it out. Twitter has exposed, we're still just primates.
Yeah, but that goes along with no consequences.
Yeah, that guy can punch me in the face if I don't. He's watching my body language, which we have. Our eyes are programmed to watch body language. You can see when someone goes, and you're like, okay, this dude's over it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that no consequences, but there's also a lot of fake people. Like when you go scrolling Instagram nowadays, and you see a little war happening, and you can see someone's frustrated, and you go, okay, who's antagonizing? Click him. It's a bot.
Yeah.
That's you're arguing with a fake person.
Yeah.
And now that negative energy, you're absorbing that hit by hit, dopamine by dopamine. You're allowing that negative energy vampire to start winning. And that's dancing with the devil.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, how powerful this device is, this piece of glass, me arguing with nobody. It's no different than like if my kid is shouting at the TV and I go, hey, why are you shouting at the TV? They're not real. What do you think we're doing? Like, I'm arguing with someone on a piece of glass who's not real, and my blood pressure's up.
And it's probably...
I'm getting real physical from and now it's ruined my whole day, and now everyone that has that political view, I target them as enemy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, we are primates.
Yep, you've now labeled them, and it's probably an issue that doesn't even directly affect you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it has affected you. That person, you have allowed it to affect you.
Yeah.
And once again, that goes back to one of the whole points of the book is self-awareness. Is how is something influencing you in this noisy ass world that we live in?
Yeah.
And how are you going to take that, and how are you going to let it influence others in your life?
Yeah.
In the phone, number one way that's happening.
This is the biggest influencer in the world.
Little black screen.
Like this little piece of glass. We're just staring at it.
Yep.
But when you are arguing with people online, or people are so tribal now, like the U.S. is pretty divided, and you start to label people in the real world because of an argument that you had in this meta world, fake world, on a piece of glass with nobody, and that triggers, like, it puts like a little red target on everyone. You know, when people see a Biden sticker, a Trump sticker, a Kamala, a Bernie, like, some people go, yeah, and some people go, red target.
Yep.
Because we're being programmed.
It's a big echo chamber, big programming, and that kind of ties into one of the other themes in the book. My personal favorite chapter is Healing Yourself Heals the Nation.
Oh, yeah.
You read that one?
Yeah.
When you went through it and I used that analogy of the cancer, did it make sense?
Yeah. Remind me of it. I know you're talking about. Remind me of it, though. Give me detail on that.
Yeah. So when it comes to cancer, you don't just wake up one day with stage 4 stomach cancer like my uncle, right?
Yeah.
That's a man that was hurting in silence for a very long time. 2-3 decades hurting in silence as a man, right? Well, when it comes to cancer, you don't just randomly get it. It starts as a cell or a group of cells, and then that group of cells influences and impacts other cells around it. When enough cells become corrupted or cancerous, then it affects that system. Once that system hits a tipping point or a threshold, then that's going to start pulling back on the host, the human body, the animal, whoever has the cancer, right?
Yeah.
So if you have lung cancer for 4, 5, 6 years, and now your body's not getting that oxygen. Now it starts impacting all the other systems. On a long enough timeline, host does what? Dies
off. Yeah.
Now think about the flip of that from a societal standpoint. You have a country or a nation. Let's use America, United States of America, all 50 states. Well, that's the host. The country is comprised of what? States. States have what? Cities. Cities have what? Communities.
Yep.
Communities have what? Neighborhoods. Neighborhoods
We're just the little
what?
cells floating around, and
Homes.
we're the little, yeah.
Homes have what? Families. Families are comprised of people. If you can influence, if like say I'm a villain, if I can break up that household, if I can disrupt the male, the female, whoever it is in there that holds that household together, whatever you call yourself, they, them, whatever, if I can disrupt that, and if I can turn that one home into cancer, a version of a cancer, right? Then maybe I can get that neighborhood. If I can
because one will affect the other.
Always.
If I'm talking about drama with my wife and my kids, and then I go down the street and have a beer with Steve, and I empower, my wife does the same thing. Well, you know what? Let's go to the bar, Steve.
Let's go get drugs. Let's go get coke. Let's go get strippers. Now I cheated on my wife. No, I've never done that. For the record. But
you and Steve, and then Larry down the street. What are you guys doing? You guys look like, man, we said, forget this or what? Yeah, my wife's kind of nagging it. Well, come to the strip club and then you get someone pregnant, and then you got AIDS, and then you just affected
you're part
the
of
whole.
The cycle.
Now you're a spreading cancer.
Yep. And now if you disrupt enough,
sorry for the crazy example, but
it happens.
It's how it goes. And now you've got 2 baby moms, separate kids, and now your kids are growing up going, why didn't my dad love me? So your actions now, all these traumas, you don't realize that cancer just got into them.
Exactly.
And it spread into their relationships. Well, my dad left me, so I can never be in a relationship because if he didn't love me and he left because of some drama between him and my mom that I did not understand at 10 years old, he didn't leave because of me. Him and my mom had to figure stuff out. Well, my mom's dad was a drunk and his dad was an alcoholic, or they cheated. They came from bad households, but now it's my fault. So now you got this kid that's going into the world spreading cancer somewhere else.
Yep.
Holding on to it.
And if you disrupt enough of and if you have enough of those
just
people,
generational after that.
And if you have enough of that, because it's a long game, right? You get one that affects another. Yeah. If you disrupt enough neighborhoods, you disrupt enough cities, that's how you collapse a nation.
Yeah. Well, where are we at now in 2026?
Nation's collapsing.
Nation's collapsing. And I looked at a study the other day, like more than 50% of marriages, people get divorced in like the first couple of years. But back in 67, whatever it was, like that was unheard of. So like you said, these little sleeper cells are getting into the household. That's where it starts, at the very bottom of that cell.
The cell.
That little tiny household before it gets into college and the workspace and politics and running the country. Like it starts at the home.
It starts with you.
And it starts with memories. It starts with regret. It starts with not knowing where to put my guilt. And then that goes into my next relationship or goes into how I treat people. And I don't think we have enough psychologists to fix the nation. We would have to be pumping them out at this point for every single person, because everyone's got something that will affect the next person. Which is why I think people writing books like this or having podcasts, other people, I think that's why people love Joe Rogan, because he has somebody on where someone can relate and go, you know what? If he admitted it, like he has no shame. He's not guilty about it. And then he kind of breaks down for 3 hours what they did. All right, I have a little faith I can get through this then, and that's why I think this is like the almost like the chemo.
A little bit.
For that cancer. You know what I mean?
It's my version
kind
of
of throwing it in there and just kind of breaking it up, trying to destroy that cell.
Every healer, every person that's healed has their own flavor of that chemo, right?
Yeah.
Or that remedy.
It's gonna break everything down, but it's gotta find that bad stuff.
It has to be real and raw. And I actually learned that, being real and raw and vulnerable. I learned that from that event that I met Felix at back in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Warrior Con 3, Garrett J. White. Him and I were both in that same room for the 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I learned, like, this is what, like, real vulnerability is.
Yeah.
Because he got up on stage in front of 1,100 men, and he threw all his shit on the table first 2 hours.
Damn.
He threw it all on the table, and I was just like,
yeah.
it's amazing, like, to see a man talk like that.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and if he's up there for 2 hours, you don't have to get every guy up there for 2 hours in that conference because you just touched.
You couldn't.
He just touched half the conference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. In conjunction with Garrett, what he preached, like the Les Brown, the Dr. Brown, all those guys that I learned from,
Mm-hmm.
they all were vulnerable about their darkness.
Yeah.
And they also showed that this darkness does no longer rule me. Now the darkness serves me. Because now and this is where you get into duality a little bit. That's a esoteric term.
Yeah.
That duality of the light and the darkness, to be whole, you have to merge the two.
Yeah.
You can't shun one in favor of the other because that's not how humans are designed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the end of the process, the cold and the heat work together to forge that steel.
Yeah, you need both.
Yeah, you got to have both. They both suck. Nobody wants to sit in a sauna or do an ice bath, but they both have their purposes.
Yeah. Every great healer that I've met has walked through that darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it takes somebody oftentimes it takes somebody that's gone through the darkness to go back into the darkness and get somebody that's there and pull them out.
Yeah.
People who just do all the, like, a lot of those gurus and those light workers on social media right now, because it's kind of a fad to be a light worker and a healer, you could tell they haven't done the work.
Yeah.
They've just repurposed somebody else's program, or just because you go through one program doesn't mean that you're qualified, my friend.
Yeah.
You still have some work to do.
I think that's why people gravitate towards the rawness. Tony Robbins cusses.
Yeah.
He's got some dark stories. When people talk about suicide, he's like, well, you're still here, so you suck at that too. And you're just like, whoa.
Catches you off guard a little bit.
And it catches you off guard, like the first chapter of this book, where you're just like, oh, that's different. I'm going to stick, because with all movies and AI, like, you got to have something that catches people now.
Yeah.
And, some of these guru people that are out there, you're like, I get it, but you mostly just have the fancy stage and lights. Like, you haven't hit me hard yet.
Mm-hmm. A lot of those people are doing it for the wrong reasons too. And I struggled with this to a certain degree, because you get it on social media. It's easy to get caught in that rat race of, I need to have the perfect lighting, the perfect this, because I need to get the views.
Yeah.
It's all back to high school. It's all about that popularity, that primitive I just need
tribal
views. Look at how many followers I have. But who's following you? Is it a bunch of 12-year-olds and you're posting you in your bikini outfit?
Which is good. They might have a certain audience, that's just like, because you never want to say like, that's nothing, because to that person it might be a huge deal. Being whatever they went through in their childhood, it might be a big deal. But then when you hear other people's stories, you're like, oh, my stories aren't shit. That person's stories are crazy. So I think but so they probably have an audience, but I think at least in the world today with, dude, the Epstein files, like, sexual abuse is everywhere. I was like, this kind of came out it couldn't have been a better time for this book to came out, because I feel like a lot of people are hanging on to sexual abuse, sexual traumas, sexual confusion, and that can really screw you up in relationships later. And I've talked to some people, and things that happen to you when you're a kid, like, not only do they shape you a certain way, but they make you attracted to certain things. And then, like,
called grooming, by the way.
I was going to say grooming, like, as an example, I'm not going to make an excuse at all for pedophiles, but they do that because someone did it to them. And I've heard podcasts that it's the only thing that gets them off. Like, me just going to dinner, hanging out with my wife, a little bit of touch and play, good conversation, like, that gets me off. I can't imagine being abused at that level to where it's the only thing that is actually attractive to me now. which is not an excuse, but
Yeah.
dude, people hang on to the weirdest stuff.
Yeah. It's
That leads to crazy stuff.
it's how you get wired.
And then the drugs just
Amplify.
enhance it, you know?
And increase the probability of something bad happening later.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny you kind of bring up the Epstein files because for the longest time I've always
I
felt.
figured we were going that way anyway.
Yeah, it's indirectly I wanted to touch on that without inviting it into such a sacred manifestation such as this book. I didn't want any other darkness really to taint it. But you're right. The Epstein files aren't new.
No.
That deviant, sexual, whatever evil you want to call it, label here, has been going on forever.
Yeah.
It is part of human nature. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, since the Roman times, like
Before,
what they used to do
all
to
the way, it
boys
goes
and
back to back to back to back to
soldierhood
back.
and
Still
certain
today.
tribes that rape boys to put man to. It's like, what are we doing?
And I noticed that because as I was growing up, I would have discussions with people, and I'd always kind of connect with certain men in a certain way, even if they were like weren't gay. And I'm like even a couple of my best friends now, we've come to find out later, like, oh, that happened to you too. And it's like you just naturally gravitate. Well, if it's me and it's my close, then it's probably a lot more prevalent.
Yeah.
That's why I started off with those two stories that I did after the opening letter, because a lot of people, unfortunately, are going to resonate with those.
Yeah.
I have a few friends that are like, why'd you put that in there? And they ask a huge question mark. Like, that never happened to me. Like, that's crazy you said that.
Yeah.
But they're actually the minority.
Yeah. Ask our other 10 friends, though, that went, damn, that answers a lot of my questions. Why I have certain kinks and certain guilts and certain... It's like, oh, I wasn't the only one? Cool. But, yeah, it's... I listened to this. I was thinking one day, I was watching this crazy movie a couple months ago, you know, the Roman kingdom, you know, the king days, gladiator days. No, I can't remember what it was, but there was some weird stuff going on. And I thought, if you really think about it, back then, a lot of stuff was okay. Molestation, inbred, you know, kingdom, you know, keeping your bloodline clean, all that stuff, right? So you wonder what's going on behind closed doors at night, especially with children. And you start to realize, I mean, we've all known it. We've all talked about it. It's in movies, but like the Epstein files really like prove it. Like for some reason, children really are, there is like this weird generational, like what is it that gets people off on this so bad? Is it, and I think it's because
Predatory
like
instinct.
Yeah. Is it like,
You have such an innocent thing before you that you get to do whatever you want with no repercussion or consequence.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And I heard this guy on a podcast, he interviewed a pedophile, and now he like works with people to like try to catch other predators.
Total Hannibal Lecter type stuff.
Yeah, like a turned Hannibal Lecter type guy who's like, oh, they prey on these people. And they're like, well, where do I? And he was like, well, teachers, you need to go look for people that work with kids. Like, well, that wouldn't happen. He's like, no.
That's where it's at.
He's like, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
And when he told his story, though, you do slightly feel for the guy. Not saying anything he did okay, but you understand why. He was like, the pain that was put on me when I was raped, not even like a normal, like he was beaten, raped. He was like, that innocence on a child and seeing the pain, it makes you almost feel better. And I was like, that's the most twisted thing
that is
I've ever heard in my life. He was like, it's not the same with an adult. He was like, you want to see the pain, almost like you're seeing yourself, but the pleasure. I was like, dude, how many other people think like this? And how many generations did it happen to that guy's dad? Did it happen to his dad? Did it happen to his dad? Because his dad didn't just do it to him just because, you know? And so you hold on to that stuff forever, but you start to realize that certain energy vampires and
don't belong to you.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, some of those are passed along.
Yeah. And so you start to really think like, how many other people are just holding this stuff in?
And how many of it is how many of them are allowing it to become a destructive force that they're shooting out?
Yeah. That cancer has spread for hundreds, thousands a year. Like we're almost like, I wonder if human race is just like born into this craziness, like, because when you
now you start going into the philosophical stuff of just what does it mean to be human.
Yeah, because when you think about real tribes from back in the day, things today now, sacrificial stuff, you're just like, children are just at the root of all the, like, we have been doing this since the beginning. Like, what, like, how do you break that cancer?
We just got back from Maui. We were at one of our boys' family houses at the family restaurant, Mama's Fish House, and we were watching Apocalyptica.
Human sacrifice, dude.
I forgot how gruesome.
Mel Gibson's, right?
Yeah, man.
Dude, you know what's crazy about that movie? That movie did crazy well, and it's not in English at all.
Yeah.
And they only say like 12 lines in the whole movie. And that movie did so well in box office theaters back then.
Why do you think that is?
I think because I think when you watch that movie and you get out of the space of like right now, nice air conditioned room, you know, nice comfy clothes, food over in the fridge. I don't have to go hunt for my food for the next 6 hours, or else we wouldn't be doing this because I need to be outside stalking prey.
Providing for family.
Yeah. And I think that when you get a glimpse, that's why we all love Gladiator. You get a glimpse of what it was probably like back then. And even though that's a rated R movie, it's
back
nothing.
Then?
Yeah. Now. But it's like, hold on. With all the Epstein stuff, human sacrifice has been like, for political view, sacrifice. Weather's bad, sacrifice. My son needs my prince needs a son, sacrifice. You're just like, we have been sacrificing each other forever. But that movie, when the heads roll and you get to see it, and the bigger you start to realize that it makes me think of like race today. Oh, this race, that race, these people. I'm like, no, I think it's just culture. I think the big tribe always just takes over the weak tribe. And that's just how it's been forever.
For a long time.
And if you don't stand up for something, the big tribes get bigger, and those crazy, because the big tribe in Apocalypto, they were just coming to collect the people they were sacrificing. They were like, oh, you guys are nobody. We'll use you. Well, you guys are lower.
Yeah, only the men. As odd as it is, though, they had a lot of honor and ethics still in there. They didn't touch the women. Well, no, that's a lie. They definitely touched the women.
Yeah.
They definitely did that.
Yeah. And that movie was keeping it PG.
Oh, no, that movie.
Compared to what, I mean, there was probably a lot more child trafficking, rape, murder. Like, that movie kept it, like, you guys don't even, this is just the top. Yeah. Like, the crazy psycho one. It's like there were probably a lot more of those guys back then.
Yeah.
That just did whatever they wanted once the men were gone, But I think that movie reminded us, like, we actually haven't evolved that much. We feel safe behind glass and our front doors, and we have a gun in the house, but it's like, if the lights went off tomorrow,
3 days,
if an EMP hit California and knocked out the power for 3 weeks, how quickly would we go back to some apocalypto stuff?
Yeah.
Tribal neighbors getting together. If I'm gone, someone has to watch the women and children because someone will come in here and steal. Like, we'd go back to primal instincts within just a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Full primal, people locking and loading up. Mm-hmm. And then that's when you get who's the leader? Well, then you have to elect a leader. And then you have soldiers. And then you restart. Right back to the biblical days. We go literally, we build our walls. We have our ammo, we have our guns, our weapons.
Resources.
Yeah. And then it's like, all right, we're going to have rules. Nobody touches the women. Nobody touches my wife. Nobody look at my kids because I have to go hunt for a couple days. I'm trusting you. Well, who's the leader? Well, he's the leader. Well, why is he the leader? And then becomes the fighting. And then comes the killing. And then
human nature, man. Human nature.
We start all over again.
Yep. But to kind of bring it back to the book, it's even though that all this craziness is happening in the world and there's a complete lack of accountability of leadership on all fronts and all this evil is coming out, unfortunately, it's always been there. But there's still a lot of beautiful things in this world. love, family, creativity, art, and focusing on those archons to give you that sense of fulfillment, that sense of purpose. Life is still worth it. It'll always be worth it.
Yeah.
It's just the negativity is really loud right now. And for the first time in human history, we can really see that.
Yeah.
And
well,
so
that rut's just deep. You got to get out of that rut.
It is. But as far as there's also an evil and opposite force, there's always the positive force to match it.
Yeah.
Even though it looks like a dark tidal wave is coming, there's still an ocean of light at your back. And that's my hope for the book, is for people not to get sucked too much into those negative energy vampires, especially with what's going on in the world right now, but to really hone back in, focus on your world, things that you can control, and stay in that home base.
Yeah.
And link up and lock arms with little pods, little groups of people that can help do that with you.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta clean your house before you go out into the world and start letting everything. You got to get that iron on you. You got to get that shield on you before you go out into the world and let everything stick to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Because life will come and it's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard for a lot of people really soon.
Yeah.
If it hasn't already been hitting them. So,
what do you think AI, how do you think AI is going to affect what people are going through today? Because I thought a lot about AI when I was reading this book. And I went back through a couple chapters, and the other day I saw that people are now using ChatGPT as like their psychologist and their boyfriend and girlfriend. And that one girl committed suicide because ChatGPT like encouraged it or something. I can't remember. It didn't tell her to, but it was like,
you're going a few different ways right there, bro.
It didn't stop her, but I was like,
you're going a few different ways.
Yeah, like how disconnected are we? And in his book, like the vulnerability, the teachings, the lessons, how do you think AI is going to affect people more with their insecurities, depressions? You think it's going to be better for the worse? You think more people need to be writing books, podcasts? Like, how do you think AI is going to affect people in the future?
There's a lot to unpack there. Let's just take it one step at a time. And let's just focus on this one question. Why is it people are talking to AI in the first place?
Yeah.
It's because AI has created a safe place to where somebody can feel heard.
Yeah.
And they're not being judged by another human being. That's also the purpose of the book.
Yeah.
Because let me ask you this. I produce music. I write books. Now somebody else can do the same thing with an AI program. But let me ask you this. If you call up Tony Robbins, Emily Ford saying, I have a question, how do I do this? And they give you an answer. You've now been counseled.
Yeah.
What's the difference from doing that with AI?
But I don't.
But don't go too much into the weeds.
I know. I was gonna say
all it is you have gotten information from an outside resource that you can now apply.
Yeah.
AI just puts it in your pocket.
But one resource actually has the memories and the feeling and knows what it's like. And they give you those little details in their story where you go, oh, that has really happened to you. Because that's what I think. AI is going to make you feel good and mostly agree with you. But I think if you're not putting those prompts in, because like I'll use AI for my business and it'll give me compliments on, yeah, Damon, so you're doing, I'll go, stop, quit babying me, give it to me straight. Where am I screwing up? And it'll go, well, you know, Damon, you do seem to lack in this because you haven't. I'm like, thank you. Be honest with me. Because I talk to mine all the time. Like I've programmed like an avatar. It knows everything about me and I have to prompt it and tell it, be straight with me. Don't baby me. You know, give me the raw version, and then you get a completely different answer. Absolutely. You're going to get that original, raw, real answer from Tony Robbins or someone that's been through it the first time. They're not going to baby you. AI wants to be your friend, but it doesn't. It can search the web and find stories that are similar to yours, but it doesn't really know. So it can't give you real critical feedback, you know, on what to do.
Yeah. To kind of answer your question earlier about how I see it applying or some of the pitfalls is if somebody allows AI to convolute their identity, just because you use AI and you had AI write a song doesn't mean you're an artist.
Yeah.
Just because you had AI write the book doesn't mean you're a writer or an author. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If people start to adopt it as a part of their persona, then we're gonna have some big problems.
Yeah.
But just like anything, like go tell somebody who's building a house, don't use power tools.
Mm-hmm.
So it's how do we use it?
Yeah.
How are we allowing it to guide us, or how are we guiding it? Those are the many questions that we as a young species with this new tool are going to have to face. And we're going to, just like anything else, stumble forward.
Yeah.
We're going to fuck ourselves over quite a bit.
We're going to fall on our face.
A lot of people are going to lose themselves, but it's always in the human nature for the pendulum to swing back.
Yeah.
Pendulum will always swing back. And as a consequence, people will now favor true artists.
Yeah.
People will favor true speakers, because now these skill sets will become more scarce.
Mm-hmm.
If you thought people were already scarce, or these talents were already scarce, the majority is going to go the easy way, because the majority goes the easy way.
Yeah.
Only those that are ready to walk the path of the tried, true, and tested will truly start to stand out. And we're going to notice a huge gap.
Yeah.
A big gap.
Yeah.
That's what I see happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of us see AI, like we call it out, because I mean it's great for information, great for stuff on the fly. You do have to remind it sometimes to not be biased, because I'll see mine going this way or the other way sometimes, and I'll have to tell it, hey, stop being biased. Get me from this point of view. But I think we're outnumbered by the people that are walking around that have the trauma. They have the history, they have the guilt, and they're just looking for something to feel good real quick. And when you tell it your story, it's gonna baby you a little bit. But if you can't see through that, sometimes you have to lock your screen and realize this is just a piece of glass. You're talking to it, it can give you images, you can tell it to be your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. Lock your screen, you're talking to a piece of glass. Don't forget that. Go listen to some go listen to a real human on YouTube. Go listen to some Tony Robbins. Pick up your book. Go listen to Les Brown. Go listen to someone with some real crazy history, and use AI as a tool to help you find better sources, but don't use it as a tool to make you feel better or tell you, oh, you're doing fine. It's like, no, that's why we're having this conversation, because I'm not doing fine. And don't let it persuade you. But then you won't know if it's persuading you to do the wrong thing. Like that girl who did that, it's like she probably thought she was ending the pain, or I don't know what it told her. But like I said, I don't think there's enough psychologists in the world to try to fix everybody.
And that's where it comes down to oneself and accountability.
Yeah.
Like using AI as an echo chamber, it can be a crutch. Doing something like this requires work, but
you got places like Warrior Con. I mean, I talked to Felix. He's like, that was life changing for me.
Going to events and being surrounded by like-minded people is I can trace almost every path I've been on to an event.
Yeah.
Isogenics Global Celebration, where I met Emily. She flew me out, who wrote one of the forwards for the book, set me on a whole new path. Her buying the ticket for me to go set me on the path to write that book.
Yeah.
Warrior Con set me on a path to being a better man, which set the stage for this. Being a wedding DJ for 10 years, wedding DJ convention down in Las Vegas. Connections at conventions set the tone for the rest of the career.
Yeah.
So don't
because
be
when you remove yourself from one room, go into this room, now you're thinking the same. Your energy's changing.
Things that you weren't thinking that you should be thinking.
Yeah, you're getting a strong second point of view from other people that are going, Alex, you need to do this. Quit doing that. And then when you come back home, your tribe here will tell you this, but when you go to places like that, when you go to conventions like that, because I've gone to some conventions, I was like, oh, this might be a little kind of corny. And then you go and you're like, these are powerful speakers. They're just making words come out of their mouth. They're not even doing a show. They're not doing an act. They're not doing a front flip.
Real and authentic.
They're just making words with their mouth. And I'm like, whoa, that makes total sense.
So here's what that looks like. Everybody has their own reality, right? Like where you just said, our own little tribe.
Yeah.
Every little reality that you have is all belief systems, habits, social circles, right? And the reason why a lot of people have trouble going out to those conventions because they don't want to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The things in this reality, in the visions you have, you can't take some of that baggage with you. It doesn't belong in the next reality. Otherwise, it will tarnish it.
Yeah.
So when you start going to those conventions, you start meeting other people that have enhanced belief systems, that have enhanced habits, lifestyles. You have to be ready to let some stuff go to make room for what needs to come.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's people.
Yeah.
It starts with the belief systems, the habits, the environment, daily routine, which is why you get the life's equation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Some of those people have crazy strong rituals for the morning. Like you start learning like, oh, all these billionaires kind of have the same traits. They have rituals. They have
the truth is the truth.
The discipline. They have, they don't even say certain words. They don't even let certain people into their circle. And you think, oh, that's why you're so successful, because you don't even have time for these conversations. Mm-hmm. But you also have people that are just going to be straight with you. And but that is hard to find now. It's hard to find a good tribe today.
Yes and no. It's as hard as it is to find it, as easy it is to create it.
Yeah.
It just all starts with awareness and a decision.
Yeah.
Like anybody today can go ahead and be like, I am no longer going to allow my energy to go to this, that, or this place.
And then I think, you know what, now that you say that, that first step, it is easy to get out of a certain tribe or a mindset, but then you got to give yourself some time to find your new tribe. But you do have to put in the work too. Mm-hmm. Go wherever, basketball courts, places, jiu-jitsu gym.
Solo travel.
You have to, you got to find what you like.
Go travel.
And that's why I think so many guys are drawn to the gym, jiu-jitsu gyms, because you're like, okay, I need to be around this, not at the bar after 5 o'clock with my old tribe. Mm-hmm. Still hang out with them once in a while, but I need to be here.
Exactly.
But so where can we get the book?
Amazon right now is the best place. Go ahead and find it on Amazon.
Okay.
The Devils We Dance With, Alexander Brian Bowser, and right now I'm working on getting it into Barnes and Noble and having a book signing over here in River Park.
Nice.
And then I'm going to start setting up hopefully little tours with Barnes and Nobles here and there.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
What's that award that you won?
The International Impact Awards.
Okay.
Yeah, I won the category for trauma and psychology.
Nice. So you were telling, I don't want to give it away. You were telling me you got a few other ideas for some other books in the future, but I think you said this one took you a long time. Now that you've got through this one, you think the next ones will be a little faster now that
absolutely. As soon as I finished this one, I finished that. I took that high from writing and completing this one into the next book. And the other one that I've been working on since 2014.
Yeah.
That one's been over the 12-year project now, but obviously I paused it to work on another book and write 4 versions of this one.
Yeah.
So now that that's done, and this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. I wanted to get this out and get my debut, but my passion is with the creative writing process, the fantasy fiction. As a writer, that's where I'd like the career to go. Mm-hmm. This just served as the statement to get it started.
It would be cool if someone took AI and made this like a film. Yeah. Because, man, the pictures, and if you could make a film of this book with those type of images, this would kill it. Before I let you go, I want to read this is one of the things I marked in the book. It was after when you were writing about Gemma. Life is short, break the rules, forgive quickly, kiss slowly, love truly, laugh uncontrollably, and above all, never regret anything that made you smile. With love, Gemma, the graceful Dawson. Mm-hmm. Hers was one of my favorite chapters because I know someone kind of like that.
Yeah, we found that in her belongings after she passed away.
Did you?
Yeah, we found it in a note in one of her journals after she had passed.
Wow.
So when I was preparing to give the speech at the family life celebration, that day, that morning, I hadn't wrote that speech. I wrote that speech about 2 hours before everybody showed up. Mm-hmm. And one of the family members came over and said, "Hey, Alex, this is from Grandma." And I was like, this is a perfect way to end it.
Wow. As you were coming out of your journey and you were like, glad I didn't quit.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being here, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Go get your book, guys. Amazon, The Devils We Dance With. I'll put some notes down below. Make sure you're on Instagram. What else are you on? Are you on
Just
YouTube or anything?
Instagram. I got my old YouTube channel where I was talking about people's pains and some of the near-death experiences that they'd been through.
Yeah.
I don't stoke that flame a lot, but Instagram is just the number one. Facebook too, but Instagram's the number one right now.
After reading this, dude, I think you need to hit that daily vlog.
Yeah.
I'm calling you out right now.
Damn.
I'm calling Alex out. I think Alex should do a 10-minute daily vlog every day on YouTube and talk about chapters in the book. Because I feel like each of these chapters, I feel like could have been almost its own book, honestly. A few of these chapters, I was like, you could go way too many directions with a couple of those chapters.
Well, that's what the first 3 versions were. The first 3 versions were probably double the size.
Yeah.
But
I was like, that needs to be a daily vlog podcast or something.
But think about it. A lot of the people that this book is designed to target aren't going to have very long attention spans. So for me to pump out a 300-400 page book and be like, here you go, read this, how many people are going to get through it?
I think you do a daily or weekly vlog, 10, 20 minutes every other day, and just see what the comments say. I think that'll give you your ideas of where people are at. And then you can go the next day on those comments. And I think it's never ending because so many people want to pour out their traumas, their experiences, how they got, because once you get through this stuff, people want to help other people too.
Heal people, heal people.
Heal people, hurt people. And I think the comments on these would blow up and give you more ideas. And after that, it's just kind of never ending.
Snowball.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling me out. I got to do something with it.
I want a daily vlog on this. I want to hear, and then I want to see what the comments say. Because I know people are just going to gravitate, give you their experience, because when you go on other podcasts or Les Brown's, some people write out their story and you're like, whoa. And I bet you that's where a lot of these...
I've gotten some interesting messages back on Facebook or Instagram already, bro.
Yeah. So.
But I appreciate you having me on today, man.
Yeah,
I really do.
Thanks for coming on. We'll do it again soon. I'll put all your links down below and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Cheers. When you're fasting, that water goes through you.